You did such a good job at school. You deserve a treat.
Yum, I want the Oreo.
No, not for you.
But I got better grades than Sarah.
Sweetheart, we talked about this. Look at yourself. You need to lose weight.
You're at a donut shop when you see a mom with her 2 daughters. She's rewarding one of them with a donut, but the other one, she's on a strict diet. Will customers side with our mom who desperately wants her daughter to lose weight, or with a young girl who simply wants to enjoy a treat with her sister? What would you do?
So, this is actually a good show. Don't confuse the show with the people who's gonna react to this situation. The show is actually just a group. The show is actually just a platform where they gather a few actors and play out a scenario. Now that's not the interesting part. What's interesting is how people react to it. Now they have tried all different kinds of scenarios. They have tried it with gay people, like homophobia, Islamophobia, and all kinds of different phobias, basically. There was one that was good where an actor was playing that she had a autistic kid, and there were actually people getting angry about it, which is I don't get that. I mean, what a retard. I mean, the guy complaining is the biggest retard in that coffee shop. But anyways, the point is, in this scenario, the mother is supposedly fat shaming her own daughter, not worrying about her daughter's health, not worrying about her daughter's future, not worry about her daughter ending up lonely. No, she's actually fat shaming, supposedly. That's how this scenario is gonna be presented. The guy he was fair. He gave the possibility that people would see it as being worry about your own child, but let's see how people actually react to it. And this is going to be a reaction, because I haven't seen it yet. I saw the title and I know the show already, so I really haven't seen this yet.
One donut isn't going to affect my diet.
That's just the attitude that got us into this mess.
Okay, one thing has to be said. If they are gonna play it like this, like the mother is the worst mother in the world, like why isn't she saying, you know, honey, you're gonna thank me later. You're right now you're in danger of becoming very unhealthy, and you're gonna have heart problems and all kinds of different problems. Why isn't she saying that? Well, one reason could be because otherwise there wouldn't be a reaction. But then again, what's the point? I would also intervene in that kind of a situation where mother talks to her daughter like that, but I wouldn't intervene if the mother would say it like, no, like I said before, like if she displayed honest concern and could maybe articulate that better to not sound like a total bitch and a monster, then I wouldn't come in between. I wouldn't say, no, you let your fat daughter have a muffin. What kind of idiot would say that? And by the way, body positivity is just fine, but you have to be realistic about your problems, your health issues. You can be happy about where you are and maybe about your progress if you're trying to get thinner, but you shouldn't enable anything that makes you unhealthy. We are not enabling alcoholism. We're not enabling those kinds of destructive behaviors. But of course, social justice warriors have adopted these issues, so it's now like almost like a protected issue. You know, like how there's protected animals. Like a few years ago, people were telling people to get thinner. Even Michelle Obama was telling people to get thinner. But now, because it's a social justice warrior hot topic, then nobody has the right anymore to say, hey, you see that Twinkie? That's like a loaded gun for you. You're killing yourself.
My milk chick brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right, it's better than yours. I can teach you, but I'd have to charge. What the boys go crazy for.
What are your favorite flavors?
We're rolling one last time, and our mom thinks she's found a friend in a man behind her in line.
But I did tell my one daughter, no donuts for her.
What? That's all right.
Look at her. She needs to lose some weight.
Oh, no.
I think she's got her own special donut right around here.
I got one too, dear. It's all right.
Now we notice this man behind them listening in.
Did you hear what he said?
I will, but Mom, I've been eating
Did you hear
healthy
what he
all
said?
week.
You know what she's getting? That's what she gets.
That's not fair.
Life isn't fair, right?
No, it isn't.
100% total, normal, reasonable response. See, the guy was saying you should say it nicer, and he used comedy to ease the tension because the woman was being an obvious monster and horrible person. But then the guy added, you should exercise, and that's why I 100% agree with him. He doesn't agree with the woman's methods, but he agrees with the woman's attentions. If you believe that a woman's attention is not to body shame, but instead to get a healthier kid. Why? This isn't. This is not skepticism. This is not skepticism. I love how this is supposed to be reaction. Oh, I'm gonna talk about something that's so fucking obvious. This was learned. I learned this as a kid, like literally in a cartoon. Let's continue.
And now that man in the back steps forward.
You absolutely disgust me. You really do. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm standing here completely unbeknownst to your conversation, and you're body shaming. This is your daughter?
Yes.
That's horrible.
What do you mean, body shaming?
Just sitting here pointing out obvious shortcomings on her part, whatever it may be due to whatever reason.
Again, agree with the man. And by the way, if there ever was a situation where you could call something as body shaming, then this would be that situation. But like I said, if the woman's attention motives were to get a healthier kid, she wouldn't be acting like this. This would only make the kid feel bad about herself and then maybe lash out by eating more. I mean, as an adult especially, she's gonna remember these moments and eat more because of it. This is psychology. I'm not an expert, so I'm not gonna say that, you know. But the point is, I agree with the guy again, and even with his lingo, I hate the term body shaming because it's used by huge manatees that are literally exhausted by walking and talking and just living. Just standing there and living is it's tiring to them. So when people like and the fucked up thing is they try to push that whole trend, that whole culture on people who are not fat yet, or like kids. Like if a kid is eating too much, they try to tell them it's okay. It's not okay if it becomes a health issue. But yeah, the guy is right. And again, it's probably more about the methods than the motives. So that's why I agree with the guy. And that's why I said there were probably gonna be people who reacted to the woman's absurd behavior instead of the actual points she had, because she has good points, but the way she talks about it, it's absolutely absurd. Let's continue again.
I'm the mother here. Maybe you should mind your own business. I'm trying to
Mommy,
help
I just
her.
want one bite. I've been eating healthy all week.
I'm shaking. I'm so just disgusted with you as a person, mother or not. I've got my own daughter who's 8, and I would never say anything like that to her. That is just unacceptable.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you?
Time to introduce ourselves.
And this is the part where the guy that runs the show, what do you call the anchor? No, the host, whatever, the guy that comes from the back room and says, "Oh, this was a social experiment." By the way, this guy is the OG social experiment guy. This guy was doing this before there was any eaten Bradberries and such. And it's a shame because this could have been a great experiment. This could have been a great test where we see if people actually get angry about a mother trying to get her own daughter to eat healthier. But not like this, not in this way, where the mother plays like a cartoon character almost. She's like the woman who's trying to get the 100 Dalmatians and make a coat out of them. She's Cruella. She's like an evil character. There's no such person, and if there is, then they are moronic, and they probably don't realize how counterproductive their efforts are. Anyways, this was my small reaction about this stupid video where they totally ruined their own experiment by hiring an actor who overplayed the part she was playing. But I'm gonna let you see the end. If I'm gonna watch it too, like I said, I haven't seen the end. If there's anything relevant or different from this, then I'm gonna continue talking, but I don't know, let's see.
It's the TV show called What Would You Do? Sometimes people hesitate in telling other parents how to raise their kids, right?
I did. I'm like, she's fine. That's not fair. She should have a donut, but I can't tell her how to raise her kid.
You didn't want to do it, but you had no qualms.
Yeah, no cause. I was glad he stepped up.
What does that do to a little girl?
My assumption would be that it's going to break down self-confidence and hurt her in the long run. I don't think anybody should be treated that way.
You know what? I do have a little comment to say. You saw what this guy said? He exactly said the same thing I said, which is that her efforts are counterproductive in a long run. In a long run. This is like the TED, the fat woman who was on TEDx, who was talking about the tutu she didn't fit into as a kid, and then at the end of the sentence she said something like, "Thanks, mother," as if it were the mother's fault, and maybe it was, but now she's an adult, so what the fuck is she doing? The point is, people remember these types of comments, and maybe it does play a factor to your weight.
It was a really, really long time ago. Does she still feel bad?
Apparently, she does.
Well, you know what they say, elephants never forget.
And this guy, like me, recognized that fact. And the black guy, I'm not blaming him for saying for not saying anything. I mean, it's a very touchy subject. If somebody told me how to talk to my family members and outsiders, I would explode too. I wouldn't listen. I would ask immediately. That's why I have a problem with the government getting into your family businesses. But anyways, thanks for watching.